Welcome back to the closing bell. Time now to get word on the street. Goldman Sachs initiating Fiat Chrysler with a sell rating and a $13.50 price target. This on valuation risks and challenges ahead. The firm citing limited opportunity in North America and struggles in the European market. Over 90% of their EBIT comes from North America. Morgan.
Just to put that one in perspective, Morgan Stanley saying Amazon's Project Kuiper represents a $100 billion opportunity. The project aims to have over 3,000 small satellites in orbit to provide global broadband internet access. Morgan Stanley estimating the space economy will grow more than $1 trillion within the next 20 years. No details yet on when we could see this constellation built and launched, though. Bernstein's software team with a note today: is IPO market froth a sign of tech bubble 2.0? The firm says that while tech IPO activity and a relatively frothy market is far from bubble levels, investors should be more, quote, cautious and selectively tactical in software exposure going forward. I have questions about both of those last two stories for you, Meghan, but let's start with your assessment of the IPO activity that we've seen so far and whether even floating the word bubble makes sense right now.
Yeah, we don't think it's an IPO bubble. I mean, I think you've seen some really exciting, innovative companies, and we've talked before about when companies are coming to market, and I think that has a lot to do with especially the price activity that we've seen from the stocks so far this year after the IPOs. I know if you look at number of IPOs, it does rival what we saw in 2006, which gives concern to maybe is this the end of a cycle. But I don't think it's terribly surprising that at the end of a bull run, companies want to get in on the action and become public.
Morgan, I have a question for you on the space note. And we should say the Morgan Stanley note is more a note on space than on Amazon specifically.
It is. It has more to do with Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos' other company.
Right. But one of their points is there's a tiny part of Amazon with which you can get exposure to space if this comes in. I mean, the question is, will investors flock towards the space play as and when pure plays become listed? I mean, and Amazon, sure, this might come into play, but it's going to be a small part of the business.
It's going to be a small part of the business, at least for now, but keep in mind, Amazon already has things like their AWS ground stations, which is basically connecting satellites, and data that they're able to collect in space to the cloud. So it is already something that's starting to fold itself in there. We'll see. Virgin Galactic is going to be the first company, probably by the end of this year, that is the first publicly traded human spaceflight company. We'll see how that one plays out. But yes, in general, there is more investor activity in space, and there does seem to be more interest, at least in the private markets right now.
It's a cool note anyway, particularly analyzing the different types of rockets. The only final point I'll say, Fiat Chrysler, on these numbers, they have it on a 12-month forward PE of 4 times, Meghan. I mean, that's pretty cheap, even though they're bearish on it. Do you get attracted at all to valuations like that?
Well, we are within the auto space. I think that it depends. It depends which companies you're looking at. But in general, we think that this is, auto manufacturing. We saw auto production data more generally come out better in the industrial production data this morning. So I think that if this is a mini cycle and not the end of the big cycle, autos can do okay.